Exciting news going into Monday morning as all eyes are on stimulus, second stimulus, as a move is underway to push for second stimulus to get approved quickly and to get riding right away on third stimulus. This amid concerns about lockdowns coming for the United States. It's too little and too late. Movement underway moments ago and all day long. And that movement will hit very loud and very vocal on Monday morning. It's incredible great news. It's incredibly reassuring. And it's incredibly great that you're here on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're good and safe. Happy day after Halloween. I hope you had a good one. I'm so glad you're joining me on this big broadcast. I have a lot of stuff to go over. This is Afternoons LA that starts with a check. Shortly after this will be hazard pay. And I have big developments on that $10,000 hazard pay. You got to tune in for that as well. This video will go over your check and stimulus checks, your multiple checks, and your third stimulus checks. But after hazard pay comes McConnell versus Trump. The push to get stimulus through the Senate will be analyzed in that video. And then 30 minutes after that is the return of the new hit series, Street and Stimulus, that will focus on Wall Street's angry push to get stimulus at the 11th hour. Wow, so much great news over the next 2 hours, so stay tuned with me. But let's get to what's in this video. In this video, I'll be going over why the push is to get stimulus done right away, and that push will be loud and clear starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning on the West Coast. I'll tell you why. Second, we'll be talking about amounts. Third, we'll be talking about routing times for stimulus checks, how quickly you can get this money, finally. MSC, multiple stimulus checks, push, push, push of the purple power. And then we'll be going over Wall Street and what they are predicting in the 11th hour before the election and minutes after the election night. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we sit here today is that there's a big push, push, push for your second stimulus down to the wire. And that push will continue after election night. It will continue after the results are announced on Tuesday, and will continue as more results come in on Wednesday. How much stimulus are we talking about? Where is the discussion? Let's get to first the amount of the stimulus checks. The great news as we talk about this afternoon is the eligibility. Early on when I came into this platform, I explained to viewers who were never explained to until I started recording that if you're on SSDI, SSI, and Social Security and Railroad benefits, you'll get a stimulus check. That's incredible great news. Second item of great news is if you were an adult dependent on someone else's tax return and you did not get a first stimulus check, that's gone. You're going to get a second stimulus check. Third issue is the issue of whether you're a dependent or non-dependent on someone else's tax return, no longer a determining factor about how much stimulus check you're going to get. By all accounts, you will get the same amount of check. That's incredible great news. So for example, let's say you're a veteran on someone else's tax return, on your son's tax return, but your buddy who you served with is next door and he does his own tax returns. He may have gotten a different stimulus check the first time around and you got none. Not this time. You're both going to get the same stimulus check. Third, the amount of stimulus check for children. How many children? Child support. And what's taken out of it? Let's go over that. It would not be taken out for child support. It would not be taken out for back taxes. It would not be taken out for debt collection. And the amount of the check is reassuring. We see the check amount rising progressively as time is going on. You understand that the push, push, push of this channel has been MSC. Hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks. That push has worked because the collective discourse from the White House has been, let's get the checks higher in amount. We had been at $1,200. Then we pushed higher with the adults, dependents. They went to a full $1,200. Then the children came up, the amount came from $500 to $1,000. So that is where we stopped a few weeks ago. But then came those great words from Mark Meadows, said, we got to go higher, and we're going higher. And the president has allocated, that was the verb he used, allocated additional, and he said the adjective additional money for the stimulus check, suggesting that the amount is higher. absolutely incredible, great news. The president has promised that his stimulus check would always be more generous than the Democrats. It would be more robust. It would be more bold and beautiful. The only issue in which you should sometimes see contraction, namely a smaller amount, was the size of the household. That no longer seems to really be the core issue. The household could be upwards of 5 people. So if you're a single mom and you have 4 kids, well, you would get your check and you'll get your check for your 4 kids. That's a family of 5. Now, if you have a family of 20, mom and 19 kids, well, no, not all the kids would get a stimulus check, so have to share there, unfortunately. But let's go back to the great news. The great news continues on the issue of MSC, multiple stimulus checks. We've heard a lot of narratives that confirm that we would get multiple stimulus checks. First, Steve Mnuchin has said multiple times during these discussions that he would co-sign multiple stimulus checks. He just wants to get these stimulus checks out, and that he'll come back for more stimulus checks thereafter. Second, Larry Kudlow has been actually better in his wording than others with stimulus checks, and he says, I don't call them stimulus because I think they're a little bit too late now. I call them assistance checks. Okay, you can call it Betty Boop checks as far as I'm concerned, or you can call it, check for check. It's just, checkmate check. It's just, I don't, Calcito check. I don't really care what it is so long as we get it. But he says that we would need more checks in the future as well. Now, the problem solvers, oh boy, they said multiple stimulus checks. They said one now and one in May. And the White House said that they would co-sign the problem solvers bill. Lindsey Graham said he would co-sign the problem solvers bill. Mitch McConnell, on occasion, has said he would co-sign the problem solvers bill. So that bill has 2 checks in it. The question is, how many more checks can we get? Well, there is a question as to who, where, when, or if you would be put on a lockdown. If you're put onto lockdown, who would do it? And how would it happen? And how many months would it be? And where would it occur? It cues up the issue of third stimulus check. That would be the period of December going forward. You would need a stimulus check if you go on lockdown. The question of whether you actually go on lockdown is simply unclear. Lockdown stimulus checks would mirror these stimulus checks, a check for each month. And then you tee up how much. Well, we have Senator Harris, the VP nominee, who wrote the bill with Bernie Sanders, who was talking about stimulus checks just a few days ago, and Ed Markey co-signed the bill. These are all Democrats, and they said $1,200 is not enough. We need $2,000 every month for 6 months until the pandemic improves or unemployment goes down. And if you look at versions of the bill, sometimes the language is an and, not an or, which is important because the pandemic is not going away. And unemployment has not necessarily dissipated to nothing. What's important to understand is the unemployment numbers on Thursday. They come out every Thursday morning. I love reporting them. I love you tuning in on early mornings, LALATE. They were good. They were very good. They were the lowest number since the pandemic started, but they weren't enough to say, no, we're not going to give a stimulus check. They were about 750,000 compared to 200,000 before the pandemic started. So you're 3 times non-pandemic numbers. That's not enough to not give a stimulus. Of course, you got to give a stimulus check. Then we have the therapeutics and the medicines that are in the pipeline. They're not expected to roll out to mass quantities until January. So you would need multiple stimulus checks. All incredible, great news. Now that we've gone over the amount, let's go over the routing times. Oh, this is exciting. So the routing times now suggest that the Treasury is faster than ever in getting out stimulus checks. I've been around for a couple days on this channel, started on April 25th, and early on, when I was dealing with PUA and things like that, they were just starting on April 28th, 3 days later. Computer programs in these states were like dating back to the 1900s. They were so out of date. They were so backlogged. They had no programmers. Well, that's all gone. What's incredible great news for your stimulus check is you'll get it fast. Thank goodness. You would get it within 10 days by electronic means if you're set up for electronic receipt from SSDI, SSI, or Social Security benefits. If you get your checks by electronic means, if you do your taxes by electronic means, and they know your bank account 10 days thereafter, this is incredible, right? Great news. Also, my incredible viewers who I've been telling about doing that non-filer filing, make sure you got that non-filer filing on. So if you've had a new child, make sure the IRS knows about the child. If you are newly on benefits, make sure they know about that. Ultimately, it's important for the IRS to know where you are located. and know where that bank account is. And if they is, then hey, the money's coming. There we go. Next, we talk about paper checks. Well, if you do things paper way, the old-fashioned way, just add an additional week. All right. With that, the push of the purple power of the followers of this channel is underway. We're loud and clear. We're so excited. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're invigorated from the weekend. We had a good weekend, and we're ready to push. The purple power has been pushing with hashtags to make it very clear we need big stimulus checks. One $1,200 stimulus check from March to March of next year is not going to cut it. I can't even say it with a straight face. Hello. I don't need a Larry Kudlow calculator for that. You don't either. So purple power, do your thing. The followers of the channel, I have created a name to describe them, and I describe them purple power because they refer to me as Mr. Purple because I wear a lot of purple on this channel. So purple power, do your thing. If you're not part of purple power, go on social media and use the hashtags hashtag purple power and tweet hashtag MSE, tweet the Purple Power Caucus, hashtag purple power check, and get that hashtag MSC out loud and clear. Multiple stimulus checks. We're owed multiple stimulus checks. We're going to get multiple stimulus checks, and the push is underway to get those multiple stimulus checks. Do you see how exciting this afternoon is? I'm really excited. Let's get to what is in store for tomorrow. What's in store for tomorrow is that Wall Street will wake up loud and clear and start shouting at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stimulus checks are going to do it. You know it's going to happen. Wall Street is going to be down. It's going to be down. It's going to be volatile. Tomorrow is going to be down and volatile. Tuesday is going to be down and volatile. And Wednesday is going to be down and volatile. Why? Because Wall Street wants you to get stimulus checks. They want stimulus relief to go out. They want a stimulus package to go out because they're concerned about consumer spending. They're concerned about you paying your rent. They're concerned about utilities. They're concerned about the business that employs you. They're concerned about your unemployment benefits. They want you to get check FPUC, hazard pay, where they want PPP to go out. They want mortgage forbearance and student loan debt and rent forgiveness. I mean, we got it all kicking in hot, loud, and clear today. The stock market is literally on the cusp of saying, let me shake you, wake up and say, do the stimulus. That's the second stimulus package. Then there's the third stimulus package. They're very concerned about England on lockdown, Germany on lockdown, France on lockdown, all in the last 7 days, and they look to us and they say, are we going on lockdown? Well, we need a stimulus relief for that as well. All the stimulus of the second stimulus package, which I detail on this channel, that you're owed, those programs basically end in December. Hence, you need something after that. That's called third stimulus. It doesn't matter if it's a Biden or a Trump win on Tuesday night. It doesn't matter if it's a Mitch or a non-Mitch or an itch or a Twitch win on Tuesday night. You're owed stimulus, and you're owed second stimulus, and you're owed third stimulus, and you're going to get it. You're absolutely going to get it. We're not losing faith, and you see the encouragement and excitement I feel for you today. It's push. The polls across the point, Wall Street across the point is expecting volatility tomorrow because they're shouting loud and clear, get the stimulus out. Charles Riley, senior investment strategist at Alliance Investment Management, minutes ago says time will tell if expected volatility turns into real market volatility tomorrow. In such an unpredictable and economic environment, one needs to pinpoint compelling plays. And the U.S. presidential election is only days away, and U.S. Wall Street is expecting for turbulent market. And this is amid other concerns like lockdown, stimulus, contested elections, and more. It's that type of issue that Wall Street's looking to. So then you sit back and you say, okay, where is my path for stimulus? Who is going to give me the stimulus? I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about this. Guess what? Don't be concerned, because you and I are going to get through this together, and there's no predictor out there that's going to tell you from A to B we're going to get stimulus. If this happens, then that happens, and this happens, then I get stimulus check. No, it's just too hard to predict. What's important to understand is we know how stimulus is passed. One, by executive orders. Push. Get that president to do executive orders down to the 11th hour. Second, by act of Congress, it can happen. Third, states are using their existing existing money for stimulus. More about that in a second. And fourth, there's private stimulus. More about that in a second. Let's go over the four types of stimulus. First, the president can do executive orders. $800 billion of CARES Act 1 money. Purple Power, do your thing. Be on social media. Hit very loud. There's always one hater in the comments says, he can't do it. He can't do it. I see you, hater. Hi, Fox News. Not true. President can do it. President can do it. Has done it before and will continue to do it. So you need to make it very loud and clear. If you want to do it, Mr. President, do it. Ultimately, it's very, very possible, because viewers asking me, why hasn't he done it yet? Why hasn't he done it yet? It's very possible the president will do it the day after the election. Why? Because he may be wanting to wait to see if he wins and then do it so it helps his second term. Yeah, you see what's going on. Ultimately, it's just a difference of 24 hours or 48 hours. You'll still get the checks within 10 days. That's incredible, great news. Next, the big issue is for legislative. It requires an act of Congress, the House to approve it, the Senate to approve it, and the White House to sign it off. How's that going to happen? I'm not going to sit here and predict it. You're not either. This house is going to win, and then he's going to go there, and then he's going to go there. No, all I can do is tell you the races, and I'm going to tell you the races. On Tuesday, Election Day, stay tuned on this channel, because for the first time ever, I'm going to do something you have never seen before on this channel for reporting. I'm going to tell you a little bit as we get closer to Tuesday. It's going to be very exciting, but it's going to be the most comprehensive coverage you're going to see anywhere online Tuesday on this channel. All right, let's go to the third path. State stimulus. Yes, states are now passing out stimulus to their citizens, part of that $115 billion of CARES Act 1 money that they have, because they say, you know what, Congress is taking too long. I'm sending out you stimulus. The stimulus is often not called stimulus. It's often called either hazard pay or rent aid or food grants or in some cases it's a stipend, or in other cases it's an employment benefit. They call it a lot of things, but they're doing it, and that's why I created the Purple Power Delegates. So hashtag PCA space hashtag LALATE if you're looking for California grants. These grants will be announced every day. Texas, hashtag PTX space hashtag LALATE if you're looking for grants in Texas. There are grants being announced every single day. The way you find them is you go on Google News and you put in grants plus your county or city plus CARES Act. And ultimately, these are announced by your city and your county. They're being announced all over the place. And if you have problems accessing a computer or accessing a cell phone, then look for a Purple Power delegate who will volunteer for you to find that information. So much incredible, great news. I'm so glad you're here. Let me go over some final passing thoughts of what to see on Tuesday and coming up. First, new indicators suggest that when you're looking at trying to figure out who may win, that generally the last 5 presidential victories have been determined by the final 3 months of the stock market. And guess what? It's too close to call. Bottom line is it's too close to call. Initially, some reports had said, well, you look at the stock market of September and October to determine whether or not that person is reelected as incumbent president. No. A new report out from CNBC today says you look at 3 months and you look at the period, or in some cases, you look at July to October. And when you look at that number, it's just too close to call. In other words, really hard to tell. Ultimately, what you're going to see is a lot of Wall Street people. Some are spending money on Biden, some are spending money on Trump. And that ultimately you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and that's what we do. For example, Goldman Sachs says such a blue wave is expecting a blue wave and would likely promote us to upgrade our forecasts. Well, is Goldman Sachs giving donations to Biden, or is it giving to Trump? Ultimately, we take it with a grain of salt. That's why we really just don't focus too much on predictions. Let me go over some incredible comments and questions from yesterday, which I want to grab right now. Jennifer, they act like they have to pay for their children's Christmas. The government in D.C. needs to grow up fast. Jose Geronimo, they need to shove, not push. Anita, get the checks out now. Amen. Pamela, send us our checks. Antonia Perez, I'm so worried they're not going to, they need to get going. I enjoyed the blue moon. Did you enjoy the blue moon? I did too. Philly girl, I doubt Vegas will ever shut down the casinos again. Soul Journey, people need to be pushed over the edge. pledge. Arena Dunman, $2,000 for 4 months, for 6 months. Get it done. Christina, get it done. Nanette, we should be the first people we get paid. Thank you for helping me stay positive. I appreciate that. Helen Capone, who I see every day. Hello, Helen. Had to revert to county, now changed today. Becky Masters, this is unbelievable. They need to do this. God's child. I'm not surprised by them. And Cheryl Tibbs, hello, LA, Purple Power family, heart, heart, heart. Hello back to you. I love it. If you have questions or comments in today's video, which I'm sure you do, drop them in the comments below, and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Push, push, push on social media. Make sure you go to the Funnest channel, subscribe. Subscribe because we're going to get through this together. And you see how I'm reinvigorated and I'm really focused, and hope you are too. Also, like this video. Stay tuned for the coming up of Hazard Pay. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.